What's up guys, welcome back to Theo's Tech Tips, and in this video I will be showing you how to make a login app with NodeJS and Google Authentication. Let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is go to the Google Cloud Console, and we're going to register some credentials for our project. Okay, so now we want to create a new project here. And so we can just leave this like it is. No organization. We're going to create it. And now you can see it's creating. So let's go switch it. Okay, so now the first thing we want to do is to go to the APIs and services and go to OAuth consent screen, and we're going to select external, and the app name is going to be called Node Sign In App. The email is going to be your email. The logo, we don't need one. We don't need these or these, but we do need this. So we're going to do this to the email that you registered the project with. So now we're going to go save and continue. And in scopes, you can just skip and skip. And then we're going to go back to dashboard. We're going to go into credentials, create credentials, OAuth client ID, and then we're going to select web app. And for the authorized JavaScript origins, we're going to go http:// localhost 500, and then the redirect URIs, we're going to start with this, so localhost 500. Then localhost 500/Google, and localhost 500/Google/callback. Awesome. So now we have our credentials. We're going to download this as a JSON for later. And we're going to go ahead and open up a new Visual Studio Code project. So I'm just going to make one here in my code projects folder. We'll just call this Node Sign In App. Okay. So now the first thing we're going to need to do is to create a Passport.js file, which will contain all the Google credentials. So we're just going to create a new file, Passport.js. Now in this file, we're gonna load these libraries later, but we're just gonna go const passport equals require passport, and we're gonna need the Google strategy as well. Strategy. And this is going to be in the package Passport Google OAuth 2 dot strategy. Okay, so now we want to serialize the user. So I'm just going to add those functions. It's pretty simple. We just have this and this. So in here we just serialize the user and call a callback after. And now we want to set Passport to use a Google strategy with the client ID, client secret, and the callback URL. So let's go do that. So we're going to go take the client ID that was in our JSON file, so let's load that up right now. And for the client ID, we're just going to copy and paste this right in here. The client secret we can also grab. Okay, so you can paste that right in here. And then the callback URL is going to be localhost 500/google/callback. And actually, no, now's the perfect time to import all of the packages that we are going to need. So we can do this by calling npm install body parser, npm install express, npm install express session, npm install passport, and npm install Passport Google OAuth 2. Oh, I made a typo. Oops. And then Passport Google OAuth 20. And okay, so those are all the packages we need. We're going to create a index.js file, which will have all the server stuff. So I'm not going to go into much detail on creating the server itself, because I went into this in my last video. So if you want more detailed instructions in setting up an Express HTTP server, be sure to watch my last video. But I'm going to cut to that part after I've already set up the basic template. Alright, so I've basically just imported all of the libraries that we use in this file. I've imported our Passport.js file for all of the details. I have created variables for the app, the server, and the port that we were using. And I just called some setting the ports, using the body parser, using sessions, and I've set up basic routing templates. So we're going to start with app.get logout. And on this, first you want to check if you're even logged in, because if you're not, then obviously you can't log you out. So we're just going to go if request.session.logged-in. Then we want to destroy the session, so we're going to go request.session.destroy. And we want to redirect back home. So response.redirect and then home. And then we're going to go response.end. And if you're not, we're going to fall back to just redirecting you home. Okay, so now this is going to be the page that tells you welcome, blah, blah, your email, blah, 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 blah. So we're going to see if you are logged in. So let's go in here. We want to check if you're logged in. So request.session.logged-in. And we're just going to send a file. So response.send file, and we'll create these later. We're going to use the path library to join the directory name and static display email.html. now that we've sent this file, we're going to see if you're not logged in. So we're going to go ahead and write access denied. So we're going to go response.write access denied, and we're going to end the response. Okay, so now for get data, which is going to be, we're going to make an AJAX call into this later, which is going to display your profile picture, your name, stuff like that. No, not your name, your email. And yeah, so this is just going to return JSON of the user data. So let's go ahead and check if you're logged in. Request.session.logged-in. And we are going to set the data variable, and this is a local variable. So this is going to be request.session.user_data. And we're just going to, I forgot to stringify this. We're going to go json.stringify the user data. So now we can just go response.write user data. No. Data. Now we're just going to end the response by going response.end. And of course, if you're not logged in, we're going to write response.write accessed, and actually I'm just going to copy and paste this. Okay, so access denied, and it's going to end the response. So now when you go to the login page, we simply are going to detect if you're logged in. So if request, actually I'm just going to copy and paste this. This is going to be a real time saver because this is basically the same. So if you're logged in, then we're just going to redirect to the welcome page because you're already signed in. Otherwise, we are going to send a file, so response.send file path.join. We're going to join it with the directory name and static login.html. Okay, so now we've come to the closing point of our index.js. We have two more routes to do, and then we can start working on our HTML, and then we should be done. So for app.getGoogle, instead of passing in a callback function, a dummy callback function, we are going to pass in Passport.authenticate Google, and we're going to set the scope to email and profile. Okay, so now for the Google callback, it's going to be simple. I mean, similar, not simple, of course. So we're going to, it's basically, we're doing still passport.authenticate Google. So we're going to go do that. And instead of calling the scope, we're going to set the failure redirect to / or the home page. Okay. And then basically after all of that, we have, I'm just using Visual Studio to figure out where I left off. And okay, so after that, we want to make actually a third parameter, which is a callback with request and response. And in this, we're just going to set some JSON. So request.session.user.data equals some JSON with the profile to be request.user.photos. The first one, because it's an array, and the value or the URL of that photo. And then we're just going to set the email to request.user.email. Okay, so now we're going to say that you're logged in. So let's go request.session.loggedin equals true. And we're going to redirect, so response.redirect to the welcome page, which will display all the data, and then we're going to go ahead and end the response. Okay, so now we're going to start the server, and oh, it looks like you have a couple of errors here. Okay, so I found an error, and I forgot to close up the path.join, so that's why there's a little error here. There we go. Now we can start working on the HTML or the templates for the app. So let's create a new folder called static and a file called display email.html, which is where it's going to redirect to, and another file called login.html. We're going to start with the display email because this is where it's going to go to. In this, we're just going to set a title, welcome. And then we just want to load in jQuery, so we're just going to go quickly find the jQuery source. Okay, we're just going to create a new script and a bit of AJAX. We're going to pass in some JSON. The URL is going to be get data, and the success function is going to be a callback with results. Awesome. So now in here, we're just going to go body dot prepend, because append would have it after the JavaScript, and we're just going to do a template string so we can do double quotes and import some variables. And we're just going to make an image with a source of, oh, oops, well, we forgot to parse the results, so we're just gonna go user data equals json.parse results. Okay, so we're gonna do user data dot data dot profile, and we're going to say we're gonna make a heading that says welcome, and then we're gonna do the email. So user data dot profile. Oh, oops. I made a big mistake on that one. We need to load in the email, not the profile. We want to make a logout link, so we're gonna go ahref logout, and it's just gonna log out, and there we go. So the display email is done, and now we just need a login page. Now this is just going to be really simple. It's just going to have a simple link that links to the Google page, and the link is just going to sign in with Google. And there we go. No JavaScript, nothing. So now we are ready to test this out. So we're just going to go node index.js. So I didn't see any errors. So let's go test this out. We're going to go to localhost 500. I'm going to sign in. I'm going to choose, of course, my account. And it looks like we have an error, so let's figure out what's going on. Well, it turns out I made a little bit of a mistake here, as there's no data object here, so you can just take that out. So now it's just userdata.profile and userdata.email. So I had a couple bugs in my reference code, and there we go. So now it displays the proper data, and if we go /, it will redirect us back to the welcome page. It's a simple 4.4. But if we go, let's just log out. So now if we try to go into welcome, it's going to say access denied. And if we try and go to get data, access is also denied. So let's try it again with a different account. Man, this also works too. So this seems to work great. So that's basically it for today. I am Theo, and I'll see you next time. Bye.